Clipper.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Let's call this meeting to order here. Beautiful summer day in Western New York. I will dispense with any announcements until the end of the meeting and turn it over to our Toastmaster of the day, Larry McKenzie.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome. Today we're going to be trading our briefcases and other things for beach towels, our alarm clocks for sunsets, and our daily routines for some adventure. The theme today will be summer vacations. Whether it's your dream vacation is relaxing on a beach, camping under the stars, taking a road trip with the windows down, or cruising the ocean, or just simply spending time with your family in your own backyard, summer reminds us that life isn't measured only by the work we do, but also by the memories that we create. As the saying goes, travel is the only thing that you buy that can make you richer. Ooh. Today, let's take a journey through stories, speeches, table topics, and a few laughs along the way. And as we start that, let's start with an inspiration. Marty, please share us an inspiration this morning.
I'm not sure I see Marty online yet.
Marty's not here. Okay.
We'll come back to him.
We'll come back to him. Next, let's move on. We need a word of the day. And our word of the day, our word master would be Mary. Mary, please share your word for today.
I chose the word flip-flops.
Ooh, flip-flops. Okay, Mary, thank you very much for that word today. Flip-flops, everyone. So remember throughout the day to flip-flop through your agenda with whatever your task may be and use that word of the day, especially in table topics. Thank you very much. I'm just writing that down. Thank you very much, Mary. As we continue through our meeting, it's very important to make sure that we are cognizant of our ahs, ums, and other things. And the person that will be taking care of that today is Tracy Farrell. Tracy, tell us about your job.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As our master, I will be listening to all our ahs, ums, pregnant pauses, or anything else that may distract us from our speeches. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Next, we're going to check in with our grammarian today, and that is Nancy Ferry. Nancy, tell us about what you're going to be doing today. Hello, Nancy. Don't see Nancy. Where did Nancy go?
She's there, but video not on, and she's muted.
All right, you know what? I will come back to Nancy. And let's go to our quote. We need, every meeting and everything that we do, there are a lot of things that are said that are actually very inspirational, or that is a quote that we carry with us. So today, let's find out what our quote of the day will be with our semi-cruise director this morning, Beth Banks.
Kate's the real cruise director. I'll just be her assistant today. How is that? One thing that Larry or Len, I'm not sure which is supposed to, but we didn't do the pledge today. And I know it's all on Zoom, but I think we're supposed to do that anyway, right? So when I'm done, yes, flip-flops, I definitely like. That was one thing I was quite disappointed when I had the knee replacement. I wasn't allowed to wear flip-flops for 6 months. That was really hard. I like wearing flip-flops out to the pool. So I have a couple of quotes for us today. The first one, summer afternoon. Summer afternoon. To me, those have always been the two most beautiful words in the English language. That is a quote from Henry James. And from John Lubbock, rest is not idleness. and to lie sometimes on the grass under trees on a summer's day, listening to the murmur of the water or watching the clouds float across the sky is by no means a waste of time. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Beth, and thank you for sharing that with us today. And I think when I was talking this morning about those donuts over in Canada and everything, I completely forgot about the pledge this morning. So without further ado, let's back up our cruise ship and go back to port before we leave, and let's begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And what a better segue to go to our Canadian counterpart, who is actually touring Southern Ontario right now. Let's go to our jester of the day, Maggie Craig.
Well, good morning. Isn't that funny? If you're going to be a jester, I guess you should laugh. Good morning, everyone. I checked the forecast for the meeting, and it said there was a 90% chance of rain. And I thought, that's great. That's about the same odds that someone will say, can you hear me now? But Zoom meetings are wonderful. The rain can't ruin your commute. So I was thinking, summer in this part of the world is simple. If it's sunny, it's too hot. If it's raining, it's too wet. And if it's perfect, we're all inside on Zoom. I just want to say that even though we're on Zoom, if anyone goes over time, this heat we've been having, they'll already be well done. And if the grammarian says it's not the heat, it's the humidity, actually, if the grammarian hears anyone say it's not the heat, it's the humidity, I believe that may officially be today's most overused phrase. Have a great day, everyone. Hope you laughed. Back to you, Sir Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Maggie. And let us know what your next Tim Horton stop will be. I think you're touring a few of them this morning over there.
Next stop, Fort Erie.
Fort Erie. We'll get back to Fort Erie in a moment. But before we do that, we've got to circle back on our cruise ship this morning and bring in our inspiration with Mr. Marty.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. This morning's inspiration is by Wally Amos on a mini book. It's titled Insights on How to Live an Inspiring and Joy-Filled Life. Under the theme of persistent that he's talking about, it says, a word he learned early in life was stick-to-itiveness. I'm sure many of you have heard of that. It means an unwavering tenacity, perseverance. Stick-to-itiveness has taught me that if I keep on keeping on, I will succeed. And perseverance is more than maintaining. It's also preparing. Preparing while you persevere will create a steady pace toward achieving your goals and increasing your faith during rough times. It will help you cultivate patience, planning, and timing. The reward for stick-to-itiveness is the satisfaction of knowing you stayed the course and got the desired results. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Marty.
Larry, this is Nancy. I'm back. I don't know what happened.
Nancy, good morning. We were just circling all the way back. We came back to port to find a couple of people that were still, I guess you would say, traveling around through checking out some of the sites. So let's check with our grammarian today, Nancy.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. This morning, as grammarian, I will look to maybe highlight some effective vocabulary, phrases, expressions used today. I will point out corrections and possible improvements, such as mispronunciation, incorrect word usage, or awkward phrases. And I will report back at the end of the meeting.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Let's see here. Now, as we move along, we have to make sure that our 3-hour cruise does not get us shipwrecked today. And the person that will be keeping that in line will be our timer, Mr. Michael Licata. Mike, tell us about what you're going to be doing.
Good morning, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. My job this morning as timer will be to time all of these speeches, whether it be table topics, the regular speeches, or the evaluations. I have my trusted tablet this morning, so you will definitely know when it starts at green, goes to yellow, and ends up on red. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Licata. This morning, to make sure that everybody is listening, I know some of you are sitting at home and enjoying a cup of coffee or another beverage, or some of us are in Tim Hortons parking lots. But what we can do this morning is raise a glass to each other as we take a journey on our summer vacation. And with that, I would like to raise a glass, and a little thing that we all would do when we get ready to go away, we pack for our vacation, and it's very simple. The way it is that you bring everything you own, you pack it into a suitcase, you spend hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars to enjoy living out of that suitcase. And all of the things that you pack and take, you normally only wear 3 or 4 things, so you come home with a lot of clean clothes. So hopefully you'll pack correctly today and do our meeting right. Cheers. Let's find out how well we listened today with our quiz master, Mike Florio. Tell us what you're going to be doing, Mike.
Good morning, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. I want to talk about flip-flops for a second, okay? I like that word. You know, I can't wear the slides. I think flip-flops, wearing them is a skill because I always kind of walk right out of them. And it took me a while to learn how to walk in flip-flops. And I like walking in flip-flops, but I cannot wear those slides. I tried even yesterday. I go, I cannot wear these things. Anyway, that's enough on flip-flops. But I will be listening intently to speeches and everyone talking, and then I will be testing your knowledge at the end of the meeting to see how well you were paying attention. Off.
Thank you, Mike. So remember when we were back in school some of us many years ago, and we were waiting for June to come along, because after that, what ended up happening was we had a summer holiday for 8 or 10 weeks, and we looked forward to that. But then when we got out of school and reality and life hit, we found out that we didn't have 10, 12 weeks for vacation every summer. If we were fortunate enough, sometimes we would have 1, sometimes 2, or more, who knows? But the average American, all of the Americans, everyone in the United States, takes over 2 billion leisure trips every year. I mean, that may just be a weekend trip or something like that, but that's quite a statistic. And the average, now we did this when we went to Florida last year, and when we travel, is when the radio's on or the music's on, we get into a fun thing of name that tune. Or if a Volkswagen goes by, I usually get popped in the arm with a punch bug. But we play name that tune or some different games in the car if we're driving, to occupy our time. So we flip-flop around in the vehicle, because sometimes when one person is the only one getting the answers correct, it doesn't make for a fun trip, and they want to drop you off at the next rest stop. So speaking of rest stops, we're going to go on to table topics today, which is our impromptu speaking. And let's check in with Carol Ann on our cruise today. Carol Ann, our table topics master.
Good morning. I have some questions regarding summer vacations. And first of all, could I call on Dave Licata? And
I wouldn't call on Dave Licata because I have a job which was forgotten and not mentioned at all.
It has not been forgotten, Mr. Dave.
Oh, okay. We will not bother Mr. Dave this morning. How about Darcy Colby? Good morning. I would like to know if during the summer, if there was a particular vacation destination that you went to every summer at some point.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. As a matter of fact, when I was growing up, my family and I used to go to Rushford Lake. My parents had a place on Rushford Lake, and that's where I learned how to water ski at the early age of 12. My dad made this homemade board. It was about 1.25 inches thick board with a point on one end and square on the other end, about 5 feet long. And he stuck a rope in it, tied a rope in it, and we would start out on our stomachs, hanging on to the rope. And when we got a little courage, we would pull up to your knees, and you'd keep going with that for a while. And then when you got really brave, you'd stand up, and that's how I learned to water ski before I actually used 2 skis. So Rushford Lake is a very special place in my heart. A lot of fond childhood memories of playing in the pine trees, playing hide and seek in the pine trees behind, and having campfires and marshmallows and the friends that were around that we played with. It was just a very special time for many, many, many years. It was also used as a hunting camp in the fall. So it was kind of dual purpose, a place to get away during the summer and a hunting camp in the fall. Rushford Lake is a great little lake. It was warm, clean, and just holds a very special place in my heart. Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, thank you. Now, I would like to ask Sylvia if what is the furthest away from Lockport you've been on a summer vacation?
Wow, what an opportunity to answer that one. You have me thinking, Carol. Summer vacation, the farthest. I would say growing up wasn't very far. It was Pennsylvania. My mother's family was from Ford City, outside of Pittsburgh area. So we went to see her brother and the 9 kids. I think one time in Toastmasters, I named them all. They're all JPOs. And to me, that was great. That was so much fun because I'm the youngest of 4 and my siblings were practically out of the house. So I didn't have many people to hang out with. So, I'm flip-flopping around here. So that is when I was young, but older, I would say I did put my flip-flops on and we went down to Florida. It would be, Sarasota, seeing Matt in the summer. I gotta take it back. I'm sorry. I went to Puerto Rico. There's probably the farthest I've been in the summer. And boy, talk about the heat down there. It was a trip unexpected, and we had a great time. I like the unexpected trips, actually the unplanned ones, and they turn out pretty well at times. So I'm going to end with that because the other trips are out west and they were during fall and winter. Thank you for the opportunity, Carol Ann.
Okay, thank you. And now may I call on, let's see, Jim Sacco. Are you available?
Yes, I'm available.
I would like to know, rather than leaving the area, what activities in Western New York do you enjoy doing in the summer?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and yes, I'm in Sunset Bay, New York, which is Western New York. We have a cottage here, and we pretty much try to spend the summer here in Sunset Bay. This is something that we purchased back in right before COVID, and our first summer in 2020, we spent the summer down in Sunset Bay on Lake Erie, in our flip-flops, sitting on the beach. And it's been a great experience. This is my 7th summer in Sunset Bay with my family. The house that we bought is a year-round home, and in fact, I have to tell my fellow Toastmasters we are definitely thinking of moving here next year. So I like the idea of having these Zoom meetings because I think this is something that I would like to continue in Toastmasters to do that, and to be a member of Toastmasters, even though we will be moving here to Sunset Bay. It's a beautiful place. We have the beach. My wife and I, we got the idea of buying a jet ski. And yeah, just yesterday we went to Turtle Joe's up in Angola, and we fought the waves on the way back and in our jet ski. It felt like I was downhill skiing again every wave that we hit. But it's been a fantastic experience being at Sunset Bay in our flip-flops, sitting on the beach, going fishing. Took my grandson fishing the other day. And it's really a good time. 4th of July, the whole family was here. Family's expanding to the point where my daughter, her in-laws have an apartment further out to a different place here at Sunset Bay. So she stayed there with her 2 children and her husband. But it's a great experience. I'm enjoying the summer here, and I will continue to be a part of Toastmasters for as long as I can. Thank you very much, Madam Tabletop Master. Right.
Thank you, participants. Now I will return to our Toastmaster of the day, Larry McKenzie.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. May we have a timers report, Mr. Licata?
Good morning again, fellow Toastmasters. I can report that all 3 of our table topic speakers qualified on time. Darcy at 1:40, Sylvia at 1:46, and Jim with the buffer at 2:04. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Let's find out if any of our table topics participants flip-flopped their way through their 2 minutes. Mary, how did they do with the word?
Jim used it twice and Sylvia used it twice. Darcy didn't use it at all.
Okay, thank you very much, Mary. In just a couple of moments, we will be seeing a poll that'll be coming up there. You can pick who you thought was our
wrong one.
Not the evaluator, but that's okay. So one of the things that, let's do this and vote here. Okay. One of the things that Jim mentioned, that he's out at Sunset Bay. My daughter actually has a place out there also. That's where they've been for the past week. And I have actually been out in Akron, New York since April, the middle of April, and we have a place out here at Leisurewood Recreational Community, and we have this up through November 1st. So for the biggest part of the summer, I spend it here. And I guess you would say this would be my hideaway, my getaway. So speaking of which, today, as we get ready, I want you to fasten your seatbelts, as our next stop on our journey today will be our speakers. We have 3 wonderful speakers ready for you today. And as our destination promises, beautiful speeches will be coming your way. But before we find out what Kate is going to be speaking about today, we have to go to her evaluator. And before we introduce her evaluator, I checked on my itinerary, and there was another evaluator who thought that he was forgotten, but he is like the head evaluator. He is the general. So let's go to our 4-star general, Mr. David Licata, our general evaluator, before we introduce our other evaluators to you.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I wish we had some guests, but it's hard to get guests on Zoom, but I'm not going to pontificate. It's the job of the general evaluator to evaluate the Toastmaster of the day and the evaluators. That's it. Thank you very much.
Words from our general this morning. Next, let's move on to our first evaluator, Bridget, who will be evaluating Kate. Bridget, tell us about Kate and her speech today.
Good morning, everybody. And I did see a guest, her name just eluded I'm flip-flopping all over the place.
Christina Cousins.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Sorry for interrupting. Correct.
No.
It is me.
You are perfectly nice to see you again.
You too.
So I continue. As the evaluator for Kate, the purpose of her project is to give a speech on a topic that she's familiar with and facilitate a question and answer section. This speech, according to the description here, is actually 15 to 20 minutes. And if Kate, if this is incorrect or whatnot, please let me know. I see that it's 5 to 7 for the speech, and then the Q&A is afterwards. The title of Kate's speech is Q&A AM Lockport Summertime Outings 2026. I will introduce Kate now. Kate, or QAAM Lockport Summertime Outing 2026.
Thank you, Bridget. Definitely 5 to 7, and maybe I did not save that on the agenda. However, our timer has the parameters. I will give you a quick overview for 3 or 4 minutes of our 2026 summer calendar, and then please be thinking of questions because we'll do question and answers for the last few minutes. So I'll get a green, yellow, red for my speaking, and then a green, yellow, red for our questions together. Where am I today? Can you see? This is a lovely farm. I don't know if you can see this. That sign and flag says Plato Dale Farm. I've never been here. It was a good place to park. It's not busy here, so I'm safe on the road heading to Cuba. Not Cuba, the island. It's pretty rough there right now. Take a look. As a Red Cross employee, I'm very concerned about the humanitarian causes there. I'm heading to Cuba, New York, for a blood drive. I'm very pleased to share with you some upcoming social activities. For our guest, Christina, and any of our newest members, I've been dubbed for years by David Licata, our unofficial cruise director. So let's take a cruise on the summer 2026. We already had some fun events. Maggie's surprise birthday party, coordinated by Bridget and Moxie. We had also our amazing summer picnic and distinguished Toastmaster party held by Mary and her parents just a couple of weekends ago. What a wonderful launch to our summertime. This evening and tomorrow evening, some of our Toastmaster friends are joining me at Shakespeare in Delaware Park, Free Shakespeare in Buffalo on the Rose Garden Hill. The weather looks all right there in Buffalo, rainy in other places. We shall see. Everyone is welcome. The show starts at 7. It's a tragedy, a shipwreck tragedy, as we're talking about a cruise. So be ready for that for this showing. Shakespeare in the Park, look it up online. So you see they're in their 53rd year, I believe, on the hill. And after this showing is complete this next week, the tragedy, they always finish the season with a comedy, Taming of the Shrew. The star is Kate. And Dave would tell you all about Kiss Me Kate and how its origins are Taming of the Shrew. We have not selected a date. If you are interested in this, please do let me know. The showings are Tuesday through Sunday, 7 p.m. We bring a picnic, bring refreshments, and enjoy our time together. And let's see what else is coming up next. Also in July, Jill had given us the great idea of seeing Citizen Kane. I don't know if anybody ended up going because there was a lot of chatter about it, but with 250 USA taking over the holiday weekend, there was too much going on for many of us. I hope you all had a wonderful 250 USA. Hang in there, USA. We have seen worse. I'm so thrilled to be part of a club with so many different ideas, different people, different perspectives, and sharing our voices together. Let's keep doing this in our meetings and also these social activities. Another movie that is coming up that some of you have may seen my email is Hadestown. Hadestown is a Broadway musical, a lot of fun, and it's going to be on the big screen the last weekend of July. If anyone is interested in joining me, help me pick a date, a time to be determined. Hadestown, it's called. That will be a lot of fun. It's Hades, like literally hell, Hadestown. And it's about Orpheus. It's kind of a parallel of that whole story with Orpheus. And let's see, I'm going to say her name wrong. Eurydice? There's probably variations in pronunciation. In any case, then moving into August. Our Toastmaster member, Yang, is one of the coordinators of the Asian American Festival in Buffalo. And a few of us went last year. So save the date for Sunday, August 9th. And we will again go to the Asian Fest. And last year, we also ended up visiting the Naval Museum, the Maritime Museum on the river, on the water there is beautiful. So we can celebrate our veterans and the Veterans Park with all of the memorials to all of our branches of service and specifically Buffalo veterans and those we lost. And that is a lovely, lovely garden and park and boat tour if you are interested. Right near there is the Asian Festival. There's food trucks galore from any culture you can imagine that we have here in Buffalo, that we are lucky to have, fortunate to have, from Indian food to Filipino food, Japanese, Chinese, and more from across Asia. There's a massive stage set up with dancing and music at the center, and it's kind of a go at your own pace, visit the vendors, and it's a lovely day. Then also right near there, a couple of other things. We have to visit Shark Girl. If you've never done a photo with Shark Girl, she's right there. So we will definitely take another group photo with Shark Girl, as well as the amazing Erie Canal Museum. And if you've never been in there, they built a replica of the boat, longboat for the canal. I may be using the language incorrectly. David will help guide us if he can attend. Again, August 9th. And I see the green light. Fantastic. Okay, so that is the museum. I cannot remember the name, but it's something like Erie Canal Discovery. They built a building for the boat to be built in about 8 years ago. And then removed the boat, and the building that is left behind, it's like a beautiful glistening barn, his museum throughout. There are photos, there's a video, there are items on display. You can leave messages. It is quite an interactive experience, all celebrating the Erie Canal, which last year celebrated its 200th anniversary since it was launched and finished being built the first time before its expansion. And I love that history. We also have, to round out my speaking portion, this coming Sunday, also on the Erie Canal, back in Lockport, for the 5th anniversary. Many of us in AM Lockport, as well as our Celtic Festival family, many of you have heard of that, we volunteer at the Cycle the Erie, and probably 500 to 600 bicyclists from around the state, around the country, and around the world will be cycling the entire length of the Erie Canal. Some do half, some do the entire route from Buffalo to Albany, starting in Buffalo. We give them a good time in Lockport and help flag them to the boat tour, help flag them through the city. All right, time for questions and answers. You are going to either raise your hand, raise your icon hand, if you know how to do that on Zoom, or you can type it in the chat, because I thought I would be on my computer. Maybe if someone wants to type it in the chat, someone else can relay it to me, and we'll do question and answers. So you need to raise your hand or raise your icon hand, or just take yourself off mute and throw me questions, and I will do my best to answer. Anyone? Anyone? I should have had plants, I guess, but we're talkers. I'm sure someone's got a question. How about this Sunday? What time? Setup starts at 7:30 a.m. The most of the cyclists will come between 9 and 11. David Licata, give me a thumbs up if you're leading some tours again. Are you giving us, oh, you can't come? Put yourself on unmute and help me fill up our Q&A.
You know, no one notified me of this, and I'm so grateful that you reinforced it today, because I enjoy that, because it is no joke. They come from all over. And when she remembered to welcome people worldwide, that's actually true, and it's amazing. And I'd like to be there as the city know-it-all. So if they have any questions about where to eat or where they can do this and where they can do that, I can help them. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you, David. It is a lot of fun. We have music going. The weather will be gorgeous. We will have a wonderful time. It's rain or shine. A lot of them take the boat tour and ride the locks and have a picnic lunch. It's a fun event. Some get beers over at Stooges. Some get the B&D bagels on the locks. Get it? Bagels and locks. And they take the lock tour, the water elevator on the canal. All righty. I need more questions for this Q&A. I can't stop talking till that green light goes.
I have a
All right,
question.
David.
Could you tell us more about the parking at Delaware in the park? Shakespeare in the park.
That is an excellent question. The earlier you come, the closer you can get, like many things. You will GPS the Rose Garden, or what's it called? Albright Knox, so now AKG Museum, right in that area, or whatever. I can't remember the name of that. The Terrace, probably. The Terrace bar that is right there in the overlook. GPS any of those. Delaware Park, Rose Garden. And then park as close as you can. And it's a lot of street parking and a lot of walking if you don't get there early. Some folks will get there as early as 5 or 6 just to get a spot on the hill. And bring a chair if you'd like to sit in a chair, or bring blankets or towels if you'd like to sit on the ground. We position ourselves right at the line where we can do both, because folks can't set up chairs too close to the stage because it would block other views. So the whole front has to be folks on blankets and towels, but we set up usually right at the perimeter where folks who are more comfortable in chairs can do chairs, or who can do blankets can do blankets. And I'll be there tonight around 6. That's my plan. And the show starts at 7. So I'll try to save us a spot. And I think maybe, Christina, our guest, it's great to hear from you. Welcome back, guest Christina. Throw me a
Thank you so
question.
much, Kate. Christina Cousins here. Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
I would like to begin by thanking first Kate for a wonderful eclectic journey. I certainly felt like I went so many places during the time that you spoke, and you painted a beautiful picture for me. Thank you also for including some things about where you're going now, Cuba, New York, and specifying just even a little bit about what's happening in Cuba as far as Red Cross and humanitarian, even dropping a few words like that sit into my heart and also tell a little bit of who you are. And I appreciate you so much. Big heart there. And then also want to thank Dave for asking the question I was going to ask about Shakespeare Where to Park. So my question for you then will be, the field trip on August 9th, the Erie Museum Canal Museum, can you tell a little bit more about that? I.e., is that a trip that Toastmasters like go to together, or I have a would like you to clarify if you don't mind.
Sure, it is in flux. Thank you for your excellent recap, Christina. That's almost an icebreaker speech. I can't wait to hear more and get to know you better. An icebreaker is your first speech. And so, in your question about that Sunday, August 9th, by chance, Eric and Mary and Yang and I didn't plan it for last year, but there was a beautiful day, and all of those things are within walking distance of the Asian Festival. So the Erie Canal Museum is right there, and we all drove together. So we sometimes carpool, sometimes it's a meet there and go at your leisure, open house style. Whoever decides to come, we kind of build based on the interest, right? And then I will email everyone or announce at meetings if we get more specific details. A meeting time for this location at the ship, for example, a meeting time at the Marine Corps statue, or so on. We'll have a meeting time at the Shark Girl, a meeting time at the Erie Canal Boat Museum. And that way folks can come and go at their pleasure. And if you or anyone else has a specific interest, like I really want to see this, Kate, we want to see these performers who are coming from China, or we really want to see we want to take the ship tour together. And I think it's $20 or $30 for that. That is a little pricier. So we did not take the tour that last year. So this is kind of a go on your own pace. But if we want to do things together, we build it that way. So I love the flexibility of our club. Wonderful question. I got the green light. I will wrap it up there. And I hope to see you at some of these events, everyone. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster Larry.
Thank you very much, Kate. All right, everyone, it's time for a takeoff. We're going to be leaving Plato Dale Farm, and we're going to head on our journey to the Carolinas, because I need you right now, as we're coming in for a landing, to return your table trays to the upright position, prepare for our next speaker, and our evaluator will be Mr. David Jones. David.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This morning, Margot Sue will be speaking from Strategic Relationships, Level 3, using descriptive language. Mr. Timer, it's 5 to 7 minutes. And the purpose of her speech is to practice writing a speech with emphasis on adding language to increase interest and impact. So please welcome Margot Sue Bittner, DPM, an amazing new year.
Thank you very much, Mr. Evaluator. So one hot summer day, Larry, Curly, and Mo declared they were bored. So what am I going to do with 3 bored children? A friend of mine had opened a maze in a cornfield. She called it Amazing Appleton. And so I decided to take the children there. We did invite Farmer Jim, but Farmer Jim could see no pleasure in walking through a cornfield. So we all changed from our flip-flops into our shoes and headed over to the corn maze, because you never know what the ground's going to be like there. Once we got there, we paid. We were given a sheet of paper that had 18 squares in it and a list on the back for trivia questions. They asked us to sit on a bunch of hay bales, which were a little bit itchy, and get our instructions. They explained that in the corn maze were 18 mailboxes. Each mailbox had a puzzle piece to put on the front with tape. Please don't use too much tape. And on the back were trivia questions. Use the pen or pencil in the mailbox, but please leave it there. They also explained that we should not create more paths just because we see a mailbox. In other words, knock down the corn stalks. And we should not run. Now, I have 3 chiefs, no Indians. So we had to come up with a system of taking turns to find the mailboxes. Larry, being the oldest, declared he would go first, and he marches into the corn maze. Mo takes off. I can't find Mo. Mo, where are you? You're not supposed to run. And Mo returns to me and says, I wasn't running, Mom. I was galloping. That's different. Meanwhile, we keep wandering through and find mailbox number 3. Larry's devastated. What do you mean it's mailbox number 3? We have to find them in order. 1, 2, 3 through 18. We found 3. While he's having his mental breakdown, Curly has already opened up the mailbox, taped down the puzzle piece, and answered the trivia question. We get through, we find mailbox number 2, we find mailbox number 1. It's Larry's turn again. We find mailbox number 4. 4th stop, 4th mailbox. Hooray, he's good. We find 5, we find 6, we find 8. And we discovered there's an overlook. Mo, of course, takes off for the overlook, dragging the rest of us behind. Once we get on this overlook, Larry grabs the map and he's looking very carefully at the mailboxes we haven't found, trying to figure out where throughout the maze they are. Curly sees her friends. She's waving, hi, how you doing? Having fun? Mo's just running back and forth behind us, up the stairs, down the stairs, across the thing, having a good time. So we start to look for some more mailboxes. We find mailbox number 10. We find mailbox number 11. And we discover there are some corn stalks down. Larry, of course, gets very upset. What are we going to do? These corn stalks are down. We have to report it. Curly's asking me, why can't we just replant the seeds or transplant corn? Mo is on his belly, looking underneath, trying to find more mailboxes. We find a few more mailboxes. We find 12, 13, 14. We can't find 15. Where's 15? Can't find 15. We finally Mom spots 15, which generates a whole new discussion. What are we going to do? Mom found the mailbox. Do we give her credit or do one of us take the credit? And after the discussion, they decided to give me credit and we moved on. We had trouble finding 16, but we ran into some friends who pointed us in the direction of 16. And then we finished up 17, 18. We looked at our map and discovered we never found mailbox number 9. What do we do? Do we go back and find mailbox number 9? Or do we go home for ice cream? Yeah, Mom bribed him with ice cream. We finished up and went home. But I called this speech an amazing year. So what does my wandering through a corn maze have to do with kicking off this brand new Toastmasters year? Well, everybody here knows about pathways, knows about legacy, and does Toastmasters in a very different way. Some of us are all like Larry. We're going to do speech number 1, speech number 2, speech number 3. Some of us are going to be like Curly. We're going to want to hang out with our friends, get some mentor help. We're going to do it in a theme way. And some of us, like Mo, are just here for the great time. But whatever way you want to approach Toastmasters, whatever way you're going to wander through this maze of all the speeches and mentoring and all the other advantages we have by being in this club, you're going to make it your own. And then at the very end of the year, when we all get together and look back what we've done, I know we'll be presidents extinguished again. So please enjoy your Toastmasters year. Think about the maze and think about who you want to make Toastmasters your experience. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Margot. Now, as we leave amazing Appleton, we're going to head on to our next adventure And I would like to introduce our next evaluator, who is our own Indiana Jones himself, distinguished Toastmaster, Dr. Gerald Stevens. Tell us who you will be evaluating and about their speech today.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and our guests, Christina. Today, I will be evaluating Zach Finney. He is presenting from the Presentation Mastery volume, Writing a Speech with Purpose. So if he is doing this, I'm sure he's not going to flip-flop all over the place because it'll be an organized event. Mr. Timer, 5 to 7 minutes is his time parameters. And his title is Functional Fitness, Movement is Medicine. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Good morning, everybody. I'm just getting my situation set up here. I wanted to create a little bit of a backdrop so we can kind of see some props. Can you guys hear me okay as well? Perfect. Okay. Movement. Having some sort of daily ritualistic movement habit is sometimes more easily said than done. But nonetheless, it's one of the fundamental pillars of health, wellness, fitness, and overall longevity. And to me, the way that I was taught is that movement is medicine. And specifically, movement is preventive medicine. It's always better to try to get ahead and prevent illness or prevent breakdown ahead of time rather than waiting for the moment when something breaks to then try to rehab and try to correct the issue then. And Benjamin Franklin even said this back in the 1700s, that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So how is movement preventive medicine? Number one, we know movement strengthens the body. It strengthens the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments. It keeps our body fresh and able to carry us through our lives. What else? Movement pumps the inner body as well. It's one of the few ways that we're able to circulate, pump blood, pump nutrients, get oxygen throughout the body, and keep the inner body fresh and clean like a spring or like a stream that's flowing rather than a pond that can become stagnant. Next, movement is incredibly stimulating for the mind, especially when we're telling our body to do something novel, something that we maybe haven't done before. That just lights up the brain like crazy and keeps the mind sharp for a longer time frame. Last and most importantly to me is movement when done correctly. The way that I want to share with you guys today is incredibly enlivening and rejuvenating for the spirit. I've stumbled upon some new movement practices that have just made me feel like a kid again. I'm doing things that I used to do when I was 14 and 16, and I'm just having the time of my life. The problem that I see with movement is we've sucked the fun out of movement. We've turned it into another regimented routine, a gym session that we must do in order to make sure our body's not falling apart. The problem is we already have 1,001 other things that we need to do on a day-to-day basis that sacks and sucks away all of our willpower and discipline. And so at the end of the day, when it's time to move our bodies again, we just don't have the energy. When I was a personal trainer, it was a different story. My whole identity was wrapped up in movement, and it was really easy to stay consistent with it then. But about 2.5 years ago, I transitioned, and now I'm working in a hospital. I'm in a clinical setting. My identity is no longer wrapped up in fitness, still health and wellness, yes, but it's just not my top priority now. And so it's fallen off to the wayside over the last 2 years or so. But recently, over the last few months, I've found ways to reincorporate it, to reintegrate it into my life. And I want to share with you guys the 4 criteria that I believe are making that possible for me. My mission is to make movement fun again for myself and, maybe for anybody else who cares to listen. My chosen practice, as you can see behind me here, has been skateboarding. This is the new skateboard that I bought earlier this spring, and these are the scooters that I bought for my kids so that we could do these things together. Which brings me to point number 1. Proximity is power. The easier it is to start doing something, to go from sedentary to moving your body, the easier. The more steps involved in getting to the gym or whatever the case may be, packing a bag, the less likely you are, the more daunting it feels. And so for me, I can walk out the front door, grab the wheels, throw on a helmet with the kids, and we can start rolling right away. Number 2, dopamine duplicates. The sooner we get that good feeling, that dopamine molecule is that more molecule, as they call it. When it feels good like that, it makes you want to do it again. And the second that I start rolling, something happens. There's something incredible about being on wheels that just it just feels amazing. You feel like a kid again. And I'm not saying everyone needs to skateboard, but maybe there are variations of wheels that might get you back outside and get you moving again the way that I am. Number 3, progression becomes passion. Having a clear line of development, of growth, is something for me that really keeps me coming back for more. That's what keeps me coming back to Toastmasters. And certainly that's what keeps me coming back on the skateboard. I'm horrible at it right now. I've just kind of recently started to be able to ride around feeling comfortable and not worried about breaking my ankle at every turn. Last, community is king. Community is creme de la creme. And the people that you're doing the movement practice with is absolutely essential. It makes or breaks the habit. And so being able to do it with my children is one of the biggest blessings, something that I'm so grateful for, and something that keeps me coming back every day after work, excited to get back out there and to move again with my family. So in conclusion, number 1, do you currently have a daily movement practice that you're engaged in every day, something that's fun for you, that you're looking forward to, or is it kind of become that daunting task where you're like, I just haven't been sticking to it the way that I really know I should be? Maybe time to reconsider. Number 2, does it light up that inner child, that inner kind of playful spirit within you? I think that's so key for more reasons than just having fun with it. I do think that has physical manifestations long-term with regard to our health. And lastly, does it check any of these 4 criteria for habit development, for consistency and longevity of the practice? Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
As our road trip of speakers has come to a conclusion, we need to find out how they did and if they made it to their destination on time. Mr. Timer, may we have a timer's report?
Good morning again, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Kate, I apologize. You initially told me that the speeching portion was going to be 2 to 4 minutes, but I saw you change it to 7 minutes. So you actually made it. Your speech was 7 minutes, and your Q&A was at 6:15. Margot came in at 5:28, and Zach came in at 6:48. So given everything, all 3 speakers qualified on time. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Now, before we begin with our evaluations, one of the things that we have to do is we have to take a look at this roadmap. If you remember when you used to go on trips years ago in the car before GPS, you'd have a map and you'd have to try and figure out how to fold it, unfold it, or maybe you had one of those Rand McNally books that would have the maps of all 50 states and then smaller little versions of the larger cities in it. And that is something a little bit like our evaluations today. And what I would like you to do is check in with our evaluators and see how each one of our speakers did when they left on their journey and how they ended at the end and if they took any roadblocks along the way. So with that, let's go to our very first evaluator, which would be Bridget, who was evaluating Kate Orr. Bridget.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As we all know, Kate is a wonderful speaker, presenter. She is very welcoming, always smiling, able to bring us into whatever she is speaking about. Kate has a wonderful way of having vocal variety, utilizing pauses, keeping us engaged. Yes, being in a vehicle is a little difficult for gestures, things such as that. However, it sounded as if she wasn't really prepared to be in her vehicle. I did appreciate the fact that she showed us where she was, which was actually a nice way to lead into going out and about versus just staying home. I did notice that the Zoom connection was a little bit off. Sometimes I have noticed that I needed to use the hotspot on my phone so that the Zoom connection, if I'm in a vehicle, is not stagnant, paused, and that things are synced up properly. Kate, you did give a lot of detail. I felt a little bit as if my head was flip-flopping around, that I was a bit confused. There were so many opportunities for us. Perhaps slow down, pick one or two, talk more about what's coming up more recently, and just give fewer specifics, fewer details. I have a feeling you like to make sure we have all the information. We also would have benefited from knowing how to contact you, especially for those that are not for our guests or for those that are new to the club. The having ways to find out about the activities, whether it's on the Facebook page, whether it's directly with you. You mentioned a lot of opportunities for us that I'm excited to participate with. So I think at the end, I would say maybe slow down a little, be a little bit more concise about some of the details. You want to create a very vivid picture of what's out there for us to do. I think, though, that too many details is a little too confusing for people. Overall, though, I always love listening to you. I always learn something. I always find out about wonderful events. I will be participating on Sunday. I look forward to that with other Toastmasters. I will leave the critique at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to take our journey. And let me just see, I got a little icon here. Okay, we're going to take our journey down to our next evaluator, Mr. David Jones. David, you were evaluating Margot.
Thank you, Larry. And Mr. Timer, before I get started, I want to talk about my summer vacation that comes up in 2 days. And here are my cruise passes. I am taking my grandson, who turns 13 this year, on a cruise around Gulf of Mexico for his birthday. He turns 13 while we're out there. We're going out of Galveston, Texas. I've never been out of Galveston, Texas before, so I'm looking forward to that port and that cruise. And my flip-flops are already packed in my bag. Now, Margot Sue Bittner. What a great story. I wasn't sure where it was going. Larry, Carly, and Mo talking about your kids. I thought that was very creative and funny. And of course, your husband, Farmer Jim. And the corn maze with the 3 chiefs and no Indians. I think everything you talk about is relatable to everybody because we can kind of pick up on what you're talking about. And what I like about all of your stories is you pick a theme and you stick to it. I thought, I'm not Mary, Larry, Curly, and Mo were just going to be at the beginning, but you kept it throughout the story. So I thought that was wonderful. And I think that your project was adding language to increase impact and interest. And you did that by maintaining that story. And you turned that corn maze into a metaphor of pathways. I didn't see that coming. I wasn't sure what the new year was. I was thinking it was Toastmasters, but I wasn't sure. And you did turn it into a creative, metaphoric story with the Toastmasters. Now, room for improvement. Now, you came in at 528, so you had more time for more stories. Maybe you could have thrown in there something about one of the kids getting lost in the maze for a while and eventually came back, like some of our Toastmasters. Some Toastmasters leave and come back. And the other one was we get so used to certain things. I get used to seeing one of your cats walk by the screen. I didn't see that today. Just something I was looking forward to seeing. But at the end, you did have a call to action, which I thought was great. What is our Toastmaster years going to be about? And hopefully it'll be President's Distinguished. And again, all of your storytelling is relatable, well, to most of us. Youngsters like maybe Mary and Zach don't know who the Three Stooges are, but I believe the rest of us do. And I just enjoy hearing your stories and your metaphors, and thank you for that story, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, David. We are now going to journey and take our next stop at Dr. Gerald's residence as he lets us know exactly how Zach did today on his speech. Dr. Gerald.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. And Zach, thank you for presenting for us today. It was great. Movement is medicine. That is definitely something a chiropractor such as myself definitely believes in. We definitely profess and profound and expand all of that in regards to our patients. There is actually a T-shirt from our local student chiropractic association that says movement is life, which is very similar. So thank you for presenting a topic that I could definitely identify with. I also identify with Benjamin Franklin because he's one of my favorites. So like Zach knows me, even though he just is kind of new to me. So that's kind of cool. So we got a lot in common already. And it's important to have a lot in common with your audience and things that people can deal with and relate to. I love the background that you had there. If you're going to be active, why not get outside? So there you are, outside at the pool. You had your props with the skateboard and the scooters, things that you would use. Very easy to get, which is one of your points. You don't have to make it complicated. If you make it complicated, it's going to be tougher to actually do something, right? Eye contact was mostly on the screen, so pretty good overall. I'll talk a little about improvements in a second. And you had a lot of active hand gestures, and that may be how you generally talk, even if you aren't doing the speech. Sometimes people will plan gestures inside their speeches, which is great. But I don't think you did that. I think it was just more natural. So nothing wrong with that. But you did have a bunch of them. As a Toastmaster, we all look for improvement. So I'll give you a few things there. I did see that you were looking off the screen a little bit and then touching something on the screen. I don't know if that was moving the words for the speech or a paper. You did pretty good not distracting the audience there, but I just noticed that a little bit. And pointer for improvement there is you don't need your notes if it's something you know real well. And if you practice it, you're fine there. So memorize the opening. You have all the filler just because of your knowledge and practice, and memorize the conclusion. And that way you're good to go. I would like to have seen the final call to action. You did a nice summary, which was great. And you kind of went through the points. But right at the end, if you could have just punched it up just a little more, say, hey, get out there, get moving, something like that, that would have been amazing. So you're right there, and I was waiting for that. A couple other things that you did really well. You listed, it was organized, listed the various points. So organization is key for sure. And your flow was smooth. You didn't stop and go, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm pausing. You didn't do any of that. And you didn't flip flop around. And I was glad to see that. So overall, good job. And I look forward to more speeches from you, Zach. And have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Gerald. May we have a timer's report?
Good morning again, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. I am proud to report all three of our evaluators qualified this morning. Bridget at 248, David with the buffer at 154, and Dr. Stevens with the buffer at 306. So all three of our evaluators qualified. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. One of the things as Toastmasters, we try to be well aware of our members and their other commitments. With that in mind, I would like to call on our master right now, Tracy Farrell. And Tracy, could you give us your report before we move on with the meeting?
I can. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Everybody in our group really did a good job. I noticed we're starting to get into the ands a lot as a connector. Nancy, you had more than 5. Larry, you only had 2. Carol Ann, you had more than 5. Sylvia, I only heard 1. Jim, I heard more than 5. And Bridget, I heard 2. Everybody else did an excellent job. We're doing really well with those ahs and ums. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tracy. Have a great day today. What I'd like to do now as we bring our journey around, I would like to call on our general evaluator, Mr. David Licata. And David, how did the meeting flow today?
Good morning, everybody. And I'm sorry I missed our guest, my first chance, so I'd like to make up for that and welcome you to AM Lockport right now. Larry did a wonderful job of planning the meeting. He obviously made sure that his T's were crossed and his I's were dotted, and there was good participation. And Larry was only victim to the standard. It could have been anybody Toastmastering, where you have these moments where the person is muted or something went wrong. So that was beyond the keen. He did a nice job there. So getting on to the evaluators, Bridget welcomed the guest, which was very thoughtful, and I appreciate that. And that was a little bit out of your realm as evaluator, but still very welcome and very thoughtful, because we're an awfully nice club and we are definitely friendly. So I'm glad you covered that. Bridget did a very nice evaluation. She told us what she liked about the speech. She gave moments where the speech could be improved and shared those moments, and told us what she really loved about the speech. Dave Jones just did a wonderful job, and we can all learn from his evaluations, because believe me, when he's evaluating, I listen very closely because I could learn a lot. And he pounded it, and he pointed out things that I had not noticed. So that was a double education. It was educational for me to hear Margot, and then that was echoed in the fact that Dave Jones pointed out things that I missed. So we're just going to peek here and make sure we got him covered. And he was kind enough to give her credit for the Stooge reference and point out to maybe the youngsters are not that familiar with the Stooges. And I'd like to say, envy all you youngsters that aren't familiar with the Stooges, because I'm a Marx Brothers guy. But anyways, that was a perfect sandwich, David. And as you said, Larry, you did introduce Dr. Joe. I wasn't familiar with Dr. Joe, and then I realized you should have said Dr. Jerry. So it all worked out for the best. Now, our speaker that Dr. Jerry had to evaluate today had kind of a rough start, and Dr. Jerry covered that, and he pointed out how that can be avoided in the future. He gave this new guy, Zach Finney. You never guessed that he's really early in his Toastmasters career, and Dr. Jerry was that pointed that out, and I can't get over it. I think Dr. Jerry could have given Zach more kudos for the gestures. I thought his gestures were great. But that was another nice sandwich as well. Larry, to get back to evaluate the evaluator of the day, Larry, if we threw you out on that stage cold without any notes, without any cue cards, you would do as excellent as you did today with the notes, with the cue cards. So to be a little bit tough on my dear friend, you got to have more faith in yourself. And I don't know why you don't. I got faith in you. And you were just a little bit too reliant on notes for my sake. But I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be general evaluator. And we hope to see you sooner than Larry. Excuse me. We hope to see you sooner than later, Larry. And I have one final question, knowing your DJ background. Is it flip flop I'm taking a bath, or is it splish splash I'm taking a bath?
Splish splash.
Thanks again, Larry.
Thank you, David. As our summer vacation comes full circle and comes to an end, we've laughed, learned, traveled through stories, and created new memories together today. But we have some reports that we need to check in with. Our grammarian, Nancy Ferry. Nancy.
Yes, thank you very much. What a fabulous meeting. One of the grammarian things I noticed was your cruise ship language that metaphor that carried out throughout the meeting. That was wonderful. Sometimes people have a theme and it just drops off. So it was wonderful to hear that those metaphors. Creme de la creme, proximity and power. Flip flop, what a great word. Special place in my head. Pontificate, eluded, parameters, dubbed, launch, chatter. Raise your icon hand. I've never heard it used that way, but it just gave me a chuckle. Eclectic journey, drop words into my heart, overlook, enlivening, rejuvenating, fundamental pillars, lights up the brain, reintegrate, daunting task, and a few improvements. I still heard gonna, going, kinda, pretty much, overuse of the word and as a connector, and yeah, cause. Um, Otherwise, it was just a fabulous meeting. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. So thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guest Christina.
Thank you very much for your report today. The wonderful thing about Toastmasters is that every meeting is a journey. Sometimes we travel through humor, sometimes we get some inspiration, and sometimes personal growth. But in order to do that, we have to listen. Like any great vacation, we have to return a little wiser. And in order to do that, we have to find out how well we listened today. So let's check in with our quizmaster, Mike Florio.
Mr. Toastmaster, thank you. And welcome to our guests, too. This morning, we talked about, on average, how many trips do Americans take in the course of a summer? How many would that be?
2 billion.
2 billion. Yeah. I mean, those numbers are a little low, right? I mean, billions of dollars is not a big deal anymore. I mean, we got to bump those numbers up, right? I mean, I think we could get to 3 billion really easy. 3 billion on to 4. And I think, we got to work on those. Darcy Colby, how old was she when she learned how to water ski?
She was 12.
12 years old, for crying out loud. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, Sylvia, where is Sylvia's mom from?
Oh, Puerto Rico?
No, that was her.
Oh, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania.
But where specifically in Pennsylvania?
Pittsburgh.
Where?
Pittsburgh.
No, not Chevy, but
Pittsburgh.
not
Ford.
Chevy, but Ford. Ford, Pennsylvania. Very specific, right around Pittsburgh area. Never been there. I've been to Sarasota. Let's see, Jim Sacco. What did he buy this year?
Jet skis.
Jet ski. Yeah. And where does he party it up? What place? Where does he go?
Sunset Bay.
Sunset
Beach.
Island.
Bay, Turtle
Sunset Bay.
Joe's. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. He's been there for 2 years. I didn't see my invitation. I'm sure it might have slipped into junk mail, but I'm not positive.
Well, you have to check with Mark Campos, the president of the Homeowners Association down there.
Oh, there you go. Let's see now. Kate, all right. I want everyone to list in order everything that she asked us to to remember for the summer. All right, give me 4. How's that 4?
I can do random. So Shakespeare in the Park.
Shakespeare in the Park.
Shakespeare in the Park.
There you
Asian
go.
Festival.
The bicycle crew
Asian
coming
Festival.
Look at it
The
go.
Erie,
Everybody's
the Erie
Chinese Festival.
Maritime
Asian
Museum.
Festival, Asian American Festival.
She
Where
She
the first
mentioned
one
doing
to be
Maggie's
taken.
birthday, and I thank you all so much for that.
There you go. That's an event. And then
It was
Shark
an event.
Girl, Shark Girl, Celtic Festival. Where was she sitting today?
In her car.
Puerto Rico, but
Play-Doh Dale
Cuba.
Farm.
Plano Dale
New York.
Farm.
You're Cuba.
in Cuba. As Kennedy would say, he's in Cuba. Okay, all right, sorry. I'm being silly. Margot Sue, which out of the 18 mailboxes did she miss? Which one did Curly Larry?
9.
9.
Number 9, or Nina.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because, and then they decided, what did they decide to do when they didn't?
Go for ice cream. Ice cream.
Here's one. Okay. All right. We know Curly, Larry, and Moe on the Stooges. The Stooges.
Jump.
Ah, come on.
I couldn't help myself.
Ah. I knew you'd know, Dave. You know? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Zach had 4 really great points. What were they? The first
Go
one.
down. Proximity is power. Dopamine duplicates. Progression becomes passion, and community is key.
Yeah, have fun.
Movement is life.
The dopamine, I really like the dopamine one, duplicates.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Totally. Progression is power, community is king. And with that, I give it back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Mike. Before we move on to the end of our meeting, I would like to check in with our guest, Christina Cousin. Christina, thank you for being with us today. How did you enjoy our meeting?
It was wonderful. Certainly, I have learned something from everyone, and the learning has been so fun. And in my second guest meeting today, to date, I am drawn in more deeply to the Toastmasters community, and I'm excited about each member that I am learning about. So thank you for asking me. I feel so appreciated. Can't wait for next week. Bye-bye.
We look forward to you joining us, and thank you for being with us today on Zoom. I want to thank everyone for packing their enthusiasm, their imagination, and their willingness to share stories with us today. What I would like you to think about is this. Toastmasters is something that I equate to this, I guess you would say, sentence. Life isn't about waiting for the perfect vacation. It's about making every day an adventure worth remembering. And every Toastmaster meeting, I leave with something new, and I feel as though I'm rejuvenated for that day. And I hope that is the same for all of you. What I'd like to do now is I would like to turn over to Mark Campos. And but before we do that, Mark, I have one announcement to make. Along our journey today, we did do some balloting and voting. And our best table topics of the day, I want to send out a shout out to Jim. Jim, congratulations. You are our best table topic today. I guess being on vacation down there at Sunset Bay is a wonderful thing, and so thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, thank you.
Our best evaluator of the day. We took a journey down to the Carolinas. Mr. David Jones is our best evaluator. Thank you, David. And David, there's David. Thank you very much. Next, our speaker had to leave early today, and I was going to try and get that in before he left, but our best speaker of the day was Zach Finney, and hands up to Jack and to Zach, and congratulations to him. I'm going to turn the meeting right now over to Mark Campos, and while I do that, I'm going to check to see who our Toastmaster of the day is for next week, and let everybody know so that they can prepare for that. Mark, to you.
Thank you, Larry, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and our guest, Christina. Our Toastmaster of the day next week will be Phil Russell, and our three speakers are Dr. Gerald Stevens, Jim Sacco, and Mary Cavanero. Before I go further and before I ask for any additional announcements, I would be remiss if I did not offer some kudos this morning to a fellow Toastmaster who I often tease a lot, whether it's because he's late or because he's fumbling with his iPhone via Zoom. David, your new setup was outstanding today. I always love a strong headset game whenever somebody brings that to the meeting, so good job on that. You had a really nice setup, great eye contact with the camera. More importantly, no mute button mishaps, which meant no frustration, which meant no potential profanity. So great job, David. This is a family-oriented meeting. With
profanity?
that, we've occasionally heard some words of frustration, but let's not accentuate the negative. You were great today, David. Anyway, fellow Toastmasters, before Len stops the recording, I would ask if there are any announcements for the larger group, and after that, if there's any need to chit chat, Len will keep the meeting open for post toasties. Are there any announcements for the group as a whole?
Yes. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes. Yes, and I would point out, Steve, and I meant to mention this but Nancy dropped off. If your video is not on, we cannot highlight you for the group.
I know. My video will not come on. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay, well, you're on.
It said, we won't do this. So I don't know what happened there. And it's still not up. At any rate, this week is Star Search down at the Kruger Park here in Wilson. Sunset's about 9 o'clock, which means about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Good stuff starts coming out. So I'm inviting everybody to come down to that. And it'll be a good one because I'm having my annual BAA picnic, and we'll have a lot of astronomers there to answer questions. So please come on out.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Any other announcements? All right. With that, I will adjourn the meeting and Len will stop the recording.